Hey, everybody. My name is Kirk Koenigsbauer. I'm in the Experience and Devices group at Microsoft, and I am here today with Jeetu Patel. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the integration work that Box and Microsoft have been doing together related to Microsoft 365 and the Box platform. Jeetu, hello. How are you doing?
Kirk, how are you? So good to be with you.
Yeah, good to be with you too. It's a tricky time, and we might want to just start with by just acknowledging COVID-19 and the coronavirus and how challenging it's been for so many people, their families, healthcare professionals, the economy at large, of course. I'm curious, maybe you can just start telling us a little bit about your thoughts on what's going on, how Box is approaching this, and what you're hearing from customers.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think you'd agree with me that the superheroes in this entire kind of journey are the healthcare professionals that are kind of working so hard to keep everyone safe and putting their lives at risk. So thank you to all of them. I'm sure you feel the same way about it. Our customers went through multiple phases of the journey. The first phase was they just were in crisis management mode, and they wanted to make sure that business continuity was maintained and that we were providing, as suppliers, all of us, Microsoft, Box, others, were providing them everything that they needed so that they could just keep their business running. We were grateful that customers actually got through that phase just fine, and we've actually been delighted with the feedback that we've gotten from customers. The second phase is how do we make sure that we can stay productive individually and as teams? The third phase then is going to be how do you make sure that you can adjust to a new normal, and what is that new normal going to look like, and are we going to be able to make sure that we can be part of it? One of the key areas, and I think kudos to you folks, there's been a tremendous amount of, in fact, we're right now on Teams talking to you, and that's been great. You've seen great success on the Teams side.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that. I think we've been really pleased with Teams. It's sort of felt like the right product at the right time in many ways, and kind of humbled by all the growth that we're seeing. It feels like many years of growth all in about 2 months. And I wish it were under, better circumstances as to why it's growing so fast. But it has been great to be able to, repivot and to be able to address some of the customer needs that we've had. And I think a part of that is also about interoperability. And interoperability is mattering more to customers than it ever has before as they're moving to cloud and really are pushing on the need for simplicity. And maybe that's a good transition for us, Jeetu, to talk a little bit about, what's your philosophy on interop and the integration strategy of the Box platform itself?
Yeah, and that's a great kind of segue, because if you really think about it, there are two major things that have happened. One is for those that had made the move to the cloud, they've actually been able to reap the benefits quite handsomely of this time period where they were able to have the least amount of disruption to their business. And the people that did move to the cloud, they had an ecosystem of providers that they were using in the cloud. And then the ones that hadn't moved to the cloud have now all of a sudden made sure that that has become a top priority, and they're actually accelerating that move. So in general, what you are seeing is an ecosystem of providers, of which Microsoft is a very critical component. And we think that Box is a pretty critical component as well of companies that people are going out and investing in. And I think it's our job as suppliers to make sure that when companies have invested in our respective offerings, that we owe it to our customers to make sure that those products interoperate effectively with each other. Kudos to Microsoft for being very open during this time and making sure that you've kind of worked with us to ensure that the interoperability is at the right level. And we want to continue to make sure that that commitment is there, that any area where we can take out friction for people that are using Box to use Microsoft technologies, that we can go out and try to optimize those touch points so that it's easier for the user to get the job done.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's well said. Interop is so important for us, and these integrations are so key. We felt really fortunate with Teams recently, not just the momentum, but as a relatively new service in the Microsoft 365 family of services. It's given us a great opportunity since it is a modern platform. It's got a modern extensibility framework as a part of it, to be able to build this in. And I know you've done a lot of work on Teams. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about some of the work that you guys have done on Teams as well as Microsoft 365 more broadly.
Customers are going to use multiple different apps, and regardless of the application that they're using, they should be able to use content that's in Box. And one of the most prominent apps that a large percentage of our customers use is Office 365, and we've made sure that we've actually integrated into Office 365. So as an experience, if you happen to be in Box and you want to open up a file in my Microsoft Office and be able to edit the file and then save it in the cloud, that should be a seamless kind of flow. And that's actually been something that our customers use pretty heavily. We've also had some pretty meaningful security integrations with Microsoft. So whether it be with Active Directory or with Intune, we've had those integrations that have continued on, and they continue to keep getting better and better as more of our teams continue to find ways to remove the friction. And then with Microsoft Teams, we wanted to make sure that you just took out the friction as people were having conversations in Teams and as people were kind of engaging with each other in Teams. And if they wanted to make sure that they needed to have an experience with files, that the content was readily available to them from Box right within the Teams experience, that they didn't have to leave that context and go into Box to go out and get that file.
Great. No, these are great. We really appreciate the work, and I am sure our shared customers do too. I think going back to where you started, I think the more we can do as partners to reduce the sort of cognitive load and simplify these workloads for end users and also for the IT staffs that are supporting and managing these environments is just all goodness for everybody, I think. In the SaaS world, we know our customers are going to want choice. They're going to want flexibility. And this means we're going to need to establish these rich integration scenarios across our stacks. And I think that's great. Any last thoughts from you?
I think you hit the nail on the head, which is, customers in these days are looking for fluidity among different kind of investments that they've made of experiences, so that those experiences don't tend to be very jarring where you move from one product to the other. They're just fluidly kind of flowing. And the second one is that they want to have choice, so that regardless of the technology that they want to use, they want to make sure that all of us as the vendor community are working effectively in integrating our technologies deeply, so that it's something that they can rely on. And that's the beauty of the cloud ecosystem. With RESTful services, with open APIs, you're able to do that in a far easier way than what you could in the client server era, where you purchased everything from a single stack of providers. Over here, you've got this heterogeneous ecosystem that customers can go out and invest in, of which both of us are meaningful kind of suppliers to, and we owe it to our customers to do a better job. So thank you for all the assistances you've given us from a technical support standpoint and making sure that the integration is as seamless as it can be.
Great. Thank you, Jeetu, for your leadership here, and also the work that your team's been doing over the last couple of months. It's been really, really great to see. For all of you, if you have feedback, comments, questions, we'd really love to hear it, and feel free to reach out to us, give us feedback, use the user voice channels, reach out to either of us directly. We'd be happy to hear from you and take your questions. Thanks, Jeetu, very much for the time today, and thanks all of you for your support of Box and Microsoft. Thank you.
Thanks.